You heard it here first. Bitcoin is going to zero. Zero. When it comes out, zero.
Good morning, everyone. It's an exciting day. Bitcoin is above 19,000 and looks like it wants to head higher. So welcome to today's Bitcoin and cryptocurrency news. I am George. Bitcoin is technically already at all-time high. I know we're waiting for 20,000, but you know what? I got a lot to share with you guys. Whales are FOMOing hard. The market cap is already at all-time high, and it's just a matter of time before Bitcoin, the price itself, breaks into all-time high territory. Oh man, it's exciting. It's very, very, very exciting indeed. And today, a lot of people angry at Coinbase, and it's crashing. People are losing stuff. I mean, that kind of shows you FOMO, right? But most of this FOMO is not from retail investors. It's really from whales, and I got a lot of inside information to share with you guys that's mind-boggling in terms of how much Bitcoin is being bought right now. I mean, this is insane. Blade Runner, yes, this is real. I know you're so bearish in your tweets, but it's one of those things you just have to accept. Now, with that said, of course, it's good to be cautious, right? It doesn't mean that you have to FOMO in hard just like the whales are, but man, the whales are definitely FOMOing in. I got a lot of statistics showing just how much they're buying right now. It's insane how much Bitcoin is being bought right now by the whales. It really is insane. So I'm going to get to that. Like always, appreciate you guys tuning in. Smash up the like, subscribe to the channel. If you are new, hit that notification bell. And as always, got to talk about the Vegas fund. You guys see it on your screen. A lot of you guys want to go to Vegas after 20,000, right? It's right around the corner. So make sure you donate if you want to join in on the fund. That's going to be pushed back to 2021 for obvious reasons. Also, I do have my Patreon page. I don't shill it that much, but I do have it up because I do plan on putting a lot more content out there, which I did yesterday. It was actually a pretty good one. And there's a private Discord chat along with that. All right, that's it for my own stuff. Oh, also Twitter. Follow me on Twitter because notifications does not always work on YouTube. But make sure you hit that notification bell and follow me on Twitter so you get double notifications. So the more, the merrier. All right, so let's get started. Bitcoin, I was about to say 13,000, and that wasn't too long ago. $19,357. Man, you know, Blade Runner, appreciate that. You know, just yesterday, I was saying, you know what? Maybe Bitcoin has stalled out a little bit, right? Altcoins are pumping, and we may have to wait a little bit longer before Bitcoin makes its, next move, right? Its next leg up. Because I was looking at this, Bitcoin is fairly consistent going sideways. Jake, appreciate it. Appreciate both of you guys. Yesterday, you know what? Bitcoin was going sideways just like this, right? And I said, oh, maybe we can wait a few more days. And you know what? Bitcoin heard me and said, nope, I'm not going to be waiting. I'm going to be jumping up. And we finally broke through 19,000. In fact, what's going on right now, and I'm going to show you a history chart. Bitcoin in 2017 was only above this point, okay, 19,300 for one single day. One single day. It was a 16 to 17. It broke through 19.3. It went to like 19.8. It didn't officially hit 20,000. And then it came back down really fast. So technically, if we just even hold at this point for another day, we would have broken a brand new record, right? Bitcoin did not hover in the 19,000s or 18,000s for very long. Remember, that was a very tail end. It went up really quickly and then came down really quickly. What we're seeing now is totally different, right? That is why this time around is different than 2017. Doesn't mean that it's just going to go straight to the moon. There's going to be up and downs, of course, but still, right now is not driven by retail FOMO, not crazy retail FOMO that we saw at the tail end of 2017. Right now, it's the whales FOMOing, okay? So if you look at Bitcoin's market cap, it's it's even higher now, 357 billion, okay? So my thumbnail says 355, it's a little outdated, 357 billion. And we go back to historical chart, this is the closest one I could find. Bitcoin at 19,500, okay? And because of the circulant supply at that time was lower, take a look at the market cap. At that time, it was about $326 billion, okay? So even if you go up and buy another few hundred, it's still less than where we are now. So we're already in all-time high in terms of market cap, all right? Bitcoin is worth more now than ever in its entire history. So get that in your head, right? Bitcoin is already at all-time high. And anything above now is just cake, right? So Bitcoin is already there. I know we're waiting for that 20,000 mark, and that could come, literally within an hour or so. I mean, the way Bitcoin is growing right now, I mean, that would not surprise me. Even during the stream, we could see a pump up to 20,000, right? But if it's not within the stream, it could be later today. It could be tomorrow. Of course, Thanksgiving's right around the corner, so this could be a side effect of that. I said, Thanksgiving, holiday, lower volume, who knows? It could be explosive. And what happens after 20,000, that's anyone's guess right now, right? There could be, one or three situations, right? There's crazy FOMO after 20,000 and it just skyrockets. It could hover a little bit and just hug the 20,000 line, or it could come down and correct like what a lot of people are thinking, right? But we're right around the corner, so we'll just have to wait and see. But Bitcoin is going higher and higher and higher and higher and higher and higher and higher, and that's what we want to see. And I don't think this is going to stop because, man, the whales are FOMOing really, 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 really hard at this point. Okay, so what am I talking about? Well, first, I tweeted this. Don't be like Greg. I know a lot of you guys have seen this before, but I mean, imagine if you're Greg right now, okay? This was only 4 years ago where he tweeted this. Had I kept my 1,700 Bitcoins at 6 cents instead of selling it at 30, he would have made a lot of money because he could have sold it at $8. Now imagine having 1,700 Bitcoins at, where are we at? 19.3. What does that come out to be? I'm just curious. 1,700 Bitcoins, 19.3. That's $33 million. And he brought, what did he buy that? I mean, he bought it at 6 cents, right? Well, this is ridiculous. So his $102 worth of Bitcoin bought is now worth $33 million. $100 now to $33 million, okay? So these type of gains, could still be had. Probably, maybe not to this extent, but still could be had. The name of the game for Bitcoin is simply to buy or hodl, right? If you're trying to swing trade or day trade or whatever, maybe, selling at 30 cents, right? You 5 times your money, right? That is a pretty good profit by any measure, right? But had you just held it, you could have sold at $8, which it would have been a lot better, or you could have sold it at 1,000 or 10,000 or now at 19,000 and you would be a multimillionaire. Simply had you just held it for 5 years. I mean, think about it. We're not talking about like if you held it for like 30 years. We're just talking about holding it for 5 years. So it's pretty insane. Okay, I just want to get that off my chest. Anyways, headlines. Headlines all over the place, okay? Market Insider, Business Insider, Bitcoin breaks above 19,000, right? Yahoo Finance, Bitcoin is surging in 2020, nearing its all-time high, right? Even Jim Cramer, you guys know who he is, host of Mad Money. He's on CNBC all the time. Even he says, it's not too late for Bitcoin. Great alternative gold, which I've always believed in. Even Jim Cramer is FOMOing in, right? But there's headlines everywhere. Obviously, what's happening now is FOMO is building with retail investors, right? Retail investors is starting to come up, but it's still nowhere close to where we were in 2017. I said after 20,000 is when retail FOMO will really start building up. But until then, what's happening is institutional investors, they're buying up as much as they can right now. So there's some very interesting statistics. So number one is, okay, CNBC, of course, they're talking about Bitcoin, but Square and PayPal may be the new whales in the crypto market as clients flock to buy Bitcoin. They're talking about the retail side, right? But look at this headline. This came out actually 3 days ago. PayPal bought 70% of all new mined Bitcoin last month as demand rockets, because PayPal needs to meet demand. If people want to buy Bitcoin, they have to have Bitcoin on hand. They essentially are becoming exchange themselves, right? And they're just a newcomer, and they just introduced it, just for a few clients of theirs. And they themselves bought 70% of all new mined Bitcoins, okay? That's just one company. Every new Bitcoin out there is being bought, okay? There is no new circulating Bitcoin. There is none. Every single one is being bought up, and I'm going to show you more like mind-boggling statistics. But just PayPal themselves bought 70%, and that's before they went full-blown. Right now, they have opened it up for, I think, majority of U.S. customers, and even the PayPal CEO says that within a short amount of time, basically all vendors, customers, clients, everyone, right, will be able to buy and sell and transact with Bitcoin. He just said it not too long ago. So, I mean, this is just them building up. They're not even done yet, right? So imagine when they are done, how big this will be, how much attention it's going to bring, how much adoption it's going to bring, right? It doesn't matter if PayPal is a centralized company or not. This is a gigantic thing for Bitcoin. That's just one company alone. All right. Coinbase, which I talked about, right? Coinbase. I'm PC hardware enthusiast, Blade Runner. A lot of PC hardware websites on BTC now. Wall Street Journal had it. Yeah, I mean, everyone's going to have it. This is the hot topic. I mean, everyone's going to be talking about, even like, mascara or makeup, magazines are talking about, because Allure talked about it like 2 weeks ago. It's insane. But anyways, so you got PayPal, which is definitely buying behind the scenes, right? They have their own reasons, but I'm just going to say they're definitely a large company. And you know what? Look at Coinbase, right? Coinbase, we know who they are, but they're institutional investors in terms of their custody service. They now have 20 billion under custody. And here's the mind-boggling thing, not just 20 billion, but they went from 6 billion to 20 billion, right? Literally within months, from April to now. So we're not even talking about years upon years upon years. So within a 7-month span, they have increased their custody by $14 billion. 14 billion. That's a lot. Right? A lot of people are buying Bitcoin, storing their Bitcoin there. Of course, the Coinbase, on a grand scheme of things, compared to the bigger brokerages and firms, they're still like a small fish in the pond. But still, Coinbase is relatively known, and they themselves already have 20 billion under. And you know that a lot of people, a lot of institutional investors are buying this and buying Bitcoin, buying whatever, and storing on Coinbase. Now, this is the biggest mind-boggling, I guess, statistics. Okay, if you look at Grayscale, right? I think you guys heard me talking about Grayscale. They have some of the biggest trusts for crypto out there. They're the biggest crypto investment company out there by far. So this is the list of trusts. Basically, you think about a trust, it's just a big pot of something, right? They take institutional money and they put it together, and what they do is they sell this trust, which is like a fractional portion, and it tracks kind of like the movement of that bucket of things. So Bitcoin is definitely their biggest one. And this is from last week. So I purposely went back 1 week. If you go on their Twitter, you could see every one that they post. So this is just from 1 week ago, 11/17. You could see at that time they had about 8.8 billion of Bitcoin on hand in their trust, right? 8.8 billion. Now, what is it today? Today, actually, this was yesterday, not even today, so it's probably went up. It is now at 9.7 billion. Okay? So, what was that jump? 8.8 or 8.9 to 9.7, right? So, what is the math on that? I mean, that's like 700, 800 million dollars. Remember, before, Grayscale would come out with statistics like, okay, we bought another 200 million or 150 million. Now, within this last week, clients have poured in about $800 million within a single week to buy Bitcoin. just think about it. Almost $1 billion of Bitcoin bought just from the institutional investors. This is what I'm talking about. They're FOMOing hard. The amount that they're buying is increasing rapidly week over week over week over week. So there's definitely no new Bitcoins floating around. So I was calculating today, and you guys could calculate this yourself. There's about 900 Bitcoin that gets mined or produced per day. So you times that by 7, that's roughly 6,300 Bitcoins per week, give or take a few. Okay, 6,300, that's not that many. 6,300, let's just times it to make it even. Let's times about 20,000 per Bitcoin. That means per week right now, at a given price, is roughly around $126 million worth of Bitcoins produced per week, right? And Grayscale themselves bought 800 million. That is a 6x fold, okay? In terms of how much they bought versus how much new Bitcoins were mined, right? Remember, I just talked about PayPal themselves bought 70%, and that's increasing, right? And Grayscale is buying already 600%. So as you can see, the supply is just, there's none. There is no supply of Bitcoin out there. There's none. They're buying every single one. So, I mean, that shows you, right? The institutional FOMO is so hard right now. They are gobbling up as much as they can because they know what's coming next, because retail FOMO is going to come next, right? And they want everything they can before that happens. And these are just a few examples. Recently, there's so much more that we don't know about that's going behind the scenes, right? Recently, I talked about how this casino operator, they said all their clients, basically, they want to get paid out in Bitcoin. So they're forced. It's not even like they're buying it as a reserve currency or buying it as an investment. They're forced to buy $100 million worth of Bitcoin per month to satisfy their clients. And you know that's going to increase, right? And that's just one casino operator. Poker operator, I should say. There's many others out there, right? There's gambling sites out there. And, pretty soon, probably like, DraftKings and stuff like that, the sports betting operator, they're probably going to have to be forced to buy Bitcoin because their clients want Bitcoin. It's like there's just so much going on behind the scenes. And that companies like MicroStrategy, right, and Square, all these guys that publicly announced they bought Bitcoin, there's a lot of companies that didn't announce they bought Bitcoin, and they're probably continuing to buy Bitcoin, right? So, man, just so much buying going on behind the scenes, which is why Bitcoin continues to go higher and higher and higher and higher, right? But the reason why Bitcoin is not like just jumping out to 50,000 right away, you might be thinking, if there's so much buying, why is it not flying up? Because these companies have revealed when they buy, they're trying to buy it as the lowest price possible. Like when MicroStrategy bought their 400 something million of Bitcoin, they spread out the transactions like 10,000 transactions. They're buying it incrementally to make sure that the price does not go up. So the joke's on the people that are selling right now, right? Anyone that's selling right now, every single one basically is being traded hands, right? Being bought by these big corporations. So what's happening is, the people that are like, I guess like Greg, right? That think they're smart and they're like, okay, I made some money, I'm gonna sell it off, right? And then guess what happens? The Bitcoin is being transferred to these large whales. And these large whales are hoarding, they're accumulating, and they're going to be making much more money down the road, like the billions upon billions to trillions that is going to be generated from Bitcoin. So that wealth transfer is happening. So for me, I'm making sure that's not happening. I'm holding what I have. I'm trying to buy as much as I can, right? Doing dollar cost averaging. I don't want that wealth transfer. I want the wealth transfer to myself. I don't want it to transfer to someone else, right? So I don't want to be like Greg, and you guys should not be like Greg, hopefully, because it's gonna be wild. 2021 is gonna be wild. Retail FOMO is gonna hit. Institutional FOMO is still going up, and we're gonna see Bitcoin much, 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 much higher than where it is now. Yeah. Also, I found this. This was interesting. Jay Clayton, the SEC chairman, the guy who keeps denying Bitcoin ETFs, and that's probably coming around the corner because futures and options have been around for a while. So pretty soon, they're going to approve a Bitcoin ETF. Not that Bitcoin needs an ETF right now, but it's happening. But he was asked about what Jamie Dimon said. Jamie Dimon recently said, Bitcoin's not his cup of tea. He's not negative about it anymore. And then he's like, the government can regulate whatever they want, whenever they want, right? If it gets bigger. And Jay Clayton actually kind of disputed that. Actually, he's turning pro Bitcoin, which of course didn't happen in 2017, 2018, 2019. You didn't hear about that. Now you're hearing the SEC becoming pro Bitcoin. We determined that Bitcoin was not a security. It was much more a payment mechanism and store value. So Jay Clayton recognizes that Bitcoin is a store of value. Yeah, that's a big thing, right? The government does regulate payments, and what we are seeing is that our current payment mechanism domestically and internationally have inefficiencies. Those inefficiencies are the things that are driving the rise of Bitcoin. Wow. I mean, he's basically admitting that how things operate right now is broken. And because it's broken, people are turning to Bitcoin. I mean, that's a huge endorsement, right? He's admitting that what we have with the fiat system is broken. And that is why people are turning to Bitcoin, because it's a payment mechanism and because it's a store of value. So that is very, very, very different than anything else out there, right? Like gold, you could say gold is store value, but it's not a payment mechanism. You can't really pay anyone with gold. And if you have fiat and credit cards, whatever kind of mechanism to transfer, right? They're payment mechanisms, but they're not store of value. Bitcoin, on the other hand, is both, which is very, very different than anything else out there. There's nothing else. Well, you could argue altcoins, okay? So I get that. But like outside of altcoins, outside of crypto, there's nothing else that's a payment mechanism and also a store of value. It's always one or another. It's not both. And Bitcoin is both. And Jay Clayton even admits it as much. And this is powerful. This is why guys like Paul Dow Jones and other guys are saying the same thing. Paul Dow Jones actually said it best. He didn't really quite understand it. And then he realized that it's tech and store value, which you never see that in anything ever, right? So yeah, that's very powerful. Very, very powerful indeed. All right. Anyways, what else is there? I have a few altcoin news. Then I could go to the charts, and also I want to look at the historical snapshot because it's kind of interesting. Some of these altcoins that have been flying high, they're actually not as far off the same time as they're not as far off in terms of price as they were in 2017. That's what I meant to say. It's actually surprised. They're actually pretty close, right? Some are really far off, but some are actually pretty close to where they were at this time when Bitcoin was at this price in 2017, which is kind of surprising. Anyways, all right. Ethereum 2.0. Basically, there's a soft launch December 1st. That's right around the corner. In fact, Grayscale clients have also been picking up a lot of Ethereum. So if you look at Ethereum Trust, about $1.2 billion a week ago, and now it's at $1.5 billion. So $300 million right, within a single week into Ethereum. That's a pretty big deal because I guess a lot of institutional investors is also liking the fact that Ethereum is moving to 2.0. It's going to be more scalable and so forth, right? So 75% of the contract is already filled. That's approximately $231 million in dollars. But basically, it's going to be met, right? Even if no one else contributes, Vitalik is probably going to fill in the rest because he has more than enough to fill in. So Ethereum 2.0 is right around the corner. We'll see how it is, right? If you want to stake, you got to get 33 ETH and you can put it in there. I don't know what the rewards will be like, right? But this is only the beginning. Ethereum 2.0 is not going to solve scalability altogether. It'll make it better, but it's not going to solve it. And then they have to implement some kind of either layer 2 solution or some on-chain scaling solution like Plasma or sharding or something. But they have to do this first before they could do the next step. So this is coming. This is right around the corner. What else is coming is this. And I didn't know this. Some of you guys are XRP Army. Maybe you know this. But XRP has been sky high. I like to think that it did so because of my important infomercials that I've been playing, right? If you haven't seen it, this is what it is.
What do you think about Ripple?
Well, I mean, I think it's too centralized, but I definitely want to meet Chris Larson.
So I like to think that I, got in people's psyche and forced them to love XRP, which is why it started skyrocketing. But this story contradicts that and basically says that people have been buying XRP because they want to get in on this new project that is going to be basically smart contracts utilizing the XRP ledger. But they're forking it off. But what they're doing is they're airdropping to anyone that has XRP, right? So people are FOMOing over this. I didn't know about this. It's called Flare Network. Okay, so basically they're taking the XRP ledger, they're forking it, and they're going to introduce smart contracts, and they're going to compete with Ethereum and so forth, right? And XRP, or Ripple's Xspring, their investment firm, is also invested in this project, right? So I guess it's a big deal, and it could be one of the reasons why XRP started going up a lot, but I don't know if that's really the case because you look at like Stellar is also skyrocketing and it didn't have something like this. So I don't know if this is really the reason, but it probably helps. So if you guys are interested in getting some free airdrop tokens, then you probably want to buy some XRP ahead of time. Although it's so high right now, I don't know if I advise that, but just want to let you guys know. All right. So lastly, I've said a lot there. Lastly, I want to compare historical snapshot in terms of some of these altcoins, where they are now versus where they were in 2017 when Bitcoin was roughly around this spot. So Bitcoin 19,200 something, right? So not too far off from historical snapshot. The 16th is the best I can find. Now, December 16 was around the high for Bitcoin. It was not the high for altcoins. Altcoins continued to rally from the 16th all the way to January, mid-January, where altcoins really started flying, right? So these numbers that you see are not all-time highs for most altcoins. However, with that said, look at this. This is actually quite interesting. When Bitcoin was around 19.5, right around now, right? Ethereum was only at 700. I honestly thought Ethereum was higher than that when Bitcoin was this high. So Ethereum was 700, roughly 700, and Ethereum today is at 606. So not too far off, about $90 off from the same point in 2017. So that's actually pretty darn good. That's pretty darn good. Bcash, we don't have to talk about that. Bcash is nowhere close. At that time, there was too much frenzy. But also look at XRP. XRP at this time was 75 cents. Of course, afterwards, we know it went on a huge run, right? But it was about 76 cents. And XRP, because of recent pump, is at 67 cents. So again, that's not too far off, right? That's a big surprise that someone like XRP had made such a dramatic jump to kind of catch up to where they were in 2017. Now, did everything catch up? No. Like if you look at Litecoin, was at 300 back in the day, where it's only 90 now, right? So that's really far off. Well, that's because Charlie brought it upon himself to publicly state that he sold it all. But let's see, Cardano was at 40 cents. Cardano is at 16 cents. So still more than halfway off. What else is there? Stellar, which has been on fire recently, just like XRP, was at 23 cents. And where is Stellar now? 19 cents. So that's not too far off either, right? So Stellar and XRP made big moves and came up. Ethereum is kind of doing its thing. It's not too far off either. So yeah, BitConnect, not around anymore. That's a good thing. What about something else like IOTA, Dash? They're nowhere close. They're nowhere close. NEM is nowhere close. I know that. EOS is nowhere close. 860. Where is EOS now? 357. So nowhere close. What else is actually pretty close? Omi's Go, which is now just OMG. They were at 1427. I think they could be pretty close. Where is it? No, nowhere close. I'm sorry. Nowhere close. Yeah, a lot of these. Dogecoin, Next, Ardor, Verge. I heard Verge was pumping today, but they're probably not up there. Binance Coin. Actually, look at Binance Coin. Binance Coin was at 466, right? And Binance Coin now is at $33. So Binance Coin, definitely a good pickup because Binance just like became the biggest currency, exchange in the world, right? That's almost like a eightfold, and that's despite these up and downs, right? So Binance definitely a good pickup. I don't know, most of these are dead. Electroneum, which was huge back in the day. I always said that was a BS coin. Vertcoin, I never liked that. I never liked Pivx, and those have just fallen away. VeChain, VeChain was at 92 cents. 92 cents back in the day, 255 million. But keep in mind, right, VeChain had a split, so you can't compare the same price. But if you look at the market cap, VeChain at that time was $255 million, right? And look at VeChain now at $1 billion. So technically, VeChain has gained 5x from 3 years ago. Not bad, not bad. Others, Kyber has done well. Walton Chain was popular back in the day. It has fallen to nothing. Same to Raiden Network has fallen to nothing. Streamer, I still like them, but they're not doing anything. Edgeless, this was like a casino play. They were just a 2 ahead of their time. QuantStamp, they're still around, but no one cares. Look at Chainlink. Chainlink was around at $119 million, and Chainlink, of course, is a top 6 now at $6 billion. Wow. From 120 million to $6 billion. That's a big jump. See, the thing is, Chainlink has always been around, right? It's just that finally people just start realizing it's a necessary thing because of DeFi, and DeFi became so hot and really just carried Chainlink up. Skycoin, this was promoted hard by John McAfee. Teal, Wabi, right? I really like Wabi, but it's just not going anywhere right now, especially with COVID. Just killed them. Hopefully they could come back one day, but I don't know if they will. Coben Hood, they pulled an exit scam. Grotasso Coin, they're gone. Loopring is doing very good. Loopring is actually doing pretty good. Pot coins, remember the cannabis coins like Potcoin, hemp coin, they were all doing well. And I still don't know why they're not doing well. Cannabis stocks went through the roof, right? And cannabis is legal in many states, many countries like Canada. I don't get why cannabis crypto never took off. It makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. So I don't know. Engine is still around. They're doing good. Idle, I used to like them, but I gave up on them. Neblio was a big thing. People loved Neblio, and was that CCN like shilled them hard, and then the guy couldn't take it, Zach, and he shut down his channel because of it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Someone mentioned Lend, which is obviously they rebrand themselves to Aave. Where's Lend on here? Did I pass it? Or they're not up here? Maybe I passed it. I don't know. Whatever. But yeah, kind of interesting. Kind of interesting, right? So obviously some mid caps have done really, really well, right? And some of these big caps, they're not as far off as we think, right? So they're actually pretty close, pretty close. But obviously, you know, this time was when altcoins really started going up. When Bitcoin stalled out, right? That's when altcoins really shot up. So this is not highs for altcoins, but pretty much high for Bitcoin. Anyways, just thought I'd show you guys. That's pretty interesting. Anyways, okay. So there you go. I'll turn to you guys for some Q&A. Rick, no, because I'm financing it. I didn't pay it in cash. And I paid it in cash, then it would make more sense, which is why I sold my Ferrari. But when I'm financing and making a monthly payment, I'm not committing all that money into BTC. So, no, Rick, that's not something I consider. But I mean, I get what you're saying, but that's the reason. Jake, I have the back app right now. Testing period is 90 days so far. Clean and fast, waiting for back card and payments to be released. Good for you. Well, let me know how it goes, because I have a really sour taste of backed since, you know, Leffler left, which is I think the whole thing was just a scam with a political play. But hopefully back continues and becomes what it was intended to be, right? Like a really easy way, a payment processor. But seeing that PayPal is in the game, right? I just don't know how backed is going to compete. They have the resources. They're backed by ICE. But it just seems like, the whole thing was just a little iffy from the get-go. Yeah, Neo is also nowhere close. Lincoln, you're back. Have I had a conversation with Charlie? No. Would I be interested? Yes. If I do an interview with Charlie, I'm going to be objective, right? I'm going to be objective, add some hard questions. I'm not going to be rude or arrogant. Charlie is a smart guy. He is a smart guy, no doubt. And I do like when he interviewed or had an interview with Roger Ver. He's like the only one that could like really push back Roger, because Roger just like to take over a conversation and try to like trick you with like a million questions. And Charlie Lee handled that really good. So I do like that. But there's a lot of things that he did I didn't like. But I would interview him if he's up for it. How do inflationary tokens like ETH have rising values? They have rising values because there's more buyers than sellers. That's simply it. When you have a lot of buyers, it'll bring up the price. It more than makes up for the amount of tokens being released. And, you know, I showed you guys this. Ethereum Trust went up by $300 million from 1.2 billion to 1.5 within a single week, right? That's a big jump. You know, Grayscale used to only go up by like 150 million, 200 million with Bitcoin per week, but Ethereum itself went up by 300 million per week. That's a big, big, big jump. So institutional investors are paying attention to Ethereum too, which is why it's going up. But of course, Bitcoin had almost 800 million gain in this Bitcoin Trust within a single week. 800 million. That's a lot of institutional FOMO. A lot of institutional FOMO. Is PayPal the PundyX killer? Well, PundyX they kill themselves. It's not like they need a killer. It was never going to work. I've never supported it. But yeah, PayPal, Square, they have basically ended it. It's not going to come. Square haven't enabled crypto payments yet on their terminals. This is what I always said. It's going to come. When Square goes all in on crypto, so those terminals that everyone uses at their small businesses, right now probably not so much, but when things open up again, the credit card processing, terminals, once that opens up to crypto and Bitcoin, then that's it. PayPal doesn't really have that, but the credit card processing, machines that you see in Target or wherever, right? Those will probably transist also. So those things will just basically negate what Pundi is trying to do. And the other thing their Pundi is trying to do is trying to make their currency into internet currency, which just won't happen. Rich Buddy, what is the Ethereum 2.0 hype? Don't know about it. Ethereum 2.0 hype is because they're moving to proof of stake from proof of work. So you no longer mine it, you stake it. And what comes with that is scalability and more things that they can add on to make it scale more. So that's the hype. Do a Lambo run Vegas summer 2022? Why 2022? 2021 should be okay after that vaccine is out on the market. So hopefully, hopefully. Rick, I guess, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong. Is that what you're doing? Driving a $500 1990 Camry also? When you were supporting Wabi and Knowles had a great success, then any hints of bounce back? Only when altcoin season hits. They have fallen to ultra low levels, so right now no one's paying attention to them. I know Knowles is trying to market themselves. They're going to go pretty hard at it. Maybe that helps. But right now, you could see all the gains is in the big caps, mid caps, the small caps, not so much. Ultra small caps, which is like things under 30, 40 million. They're having a hard time coming up. But hopefully they continue forward. They don't give up. And when altcoin season comes, then when people pay attention and money just flows in, hopefully they'll come back up to their previous levels. Johnny, I don't know if you should wait to hit 22,000. I don't think anyone should wait for a set number. So that's the thing. It's like a lot of times when everyone is saying one thing, that's when you probably should not do it. I've said 20,000 for the longest time, right? I just feel like that's a perfect number. We have seen when whales decide to take a breather or sell, they like perfect numbers. And 20,000, there's no better number than 20,000, right? But like I said, I created a video newsletter yesterday for Patreon members, and I said, you know what? Sometimes you just don't want to wait, right? Because when you wait, maybe Coinbase is down, or maybe the whales decide to do a little bit faster. You just get burned, right? So if you're antsy, you want to take profits, right? Because you're afraid, then go ahead and do so. Do so now. Don't wait for a set number. You never know, right? You never know. But with that said, after we hit 20,000, it's anyone's game. It's anyone's game. On top, there's no more lines. All these fancy lines that I have drawn out. I call it fancy, but they're really not. But anyways, after 20,000, there's no more lines. It's uncharted territory. It could really go anywhere after 20,000. It could stop at 30,000. It could stop at 40,000. It could stop at 50,000. It could stop at 100,000. Who knows how fast things will go, because FOMO will really start hitting, right? And it's the fourth year of the 4-year cycle. Usually the fourth year, the last year, is the most bullish. So who knows what's going to happen. But logic would dictate that Bitcoin needs to take a breather or a consolidation period. And it's not too bad when it does, because it gives you a buying opportunity. And also it gives a chance for alts to come up, right? So that could be right at the 20,000 mark too. So we'll just have to see. We'll have to see which scenario comes true. Is it okay to buy Bitcoin iPhone app? I don't know what iPhone app you're talking about. No one got burned taking profits. That is true. Unless you're Greg. He took profits. And I would say, even though he took profits, in hindsight, he got burned, right? So no one ever got hurt taking profits except if you're Greg. You think ETH will pass 800 by the end of the year? I mean, that's reasonable. Seeing how it's above 600 now, there's no reason why it can't. It could definitely. If Bitcoin continues higher, Ethereum will follow, right? It'll continue higher. So, yeah, I think so. By the end of the year, that could definitely happen. Vegas part at what club? I haven't decided. So I don't know. I haven't been looking. We need to let COVID die down first before thinking about it, right? But I do have a Vegas fund. So those of you guys that want to join me, you want to donate, please do so. Last week I sold all my XRP for BTC. Still a good move after XRP. Well, that's short-term hurt, okay? You hurt short-term, right? You lost a lot of potential profits within this week, yes. But think about this. You didn't lose any money with Bitcoin. Bitcoin still went up, right? So that's a good thing. And Bitcoin will continue higher. Who knows when this XRP pump will stop? Maybe it continues, but maybe it stops after people, after this airdrop happens, right? Maybe then comes back down. So don't judge it by what happened within a week. Judge it a year from now. And it could have been the best move you ever made. What's your end goal with Bitcoin? And I don't know. End goal is just to hold it. Hold it until it gets to $1 million, I guess. I really don't know what the end goal is. End goal is to get filthy rich, okay? But I don't know. Everyone's definition of filthy rich is different, so I don't know what that really comes out to be. Anyways, someone asked about XRM, Stellar. I mean, Stellar, it's hard to do TA when it's up 42% within a single day, right? It's just really, really high up. If you look at the weekly chart, RSI is at 82. So, I mean, this is we need more data. Let's go back let's do Bitfinex. Here we go. So going back a little bit farther, obviously XRM was higher, but with today's and yesterday's pump, it has definitely shattered through a few previous highs. So the next one, it's actually sitting at one right now. So I just draw a line. You could see over here back in 2019, it utilized this point as a support. So a couple times, 1, 2, and then it broke it and has never been above it, right? So this is actually a pretty important point for Stellar. Obviously has not been able to break this for over a year, almost 2 years. And if it breaks through this, that's actually pretty bullish. But this looks like it could be a hard resistance, but we'll see. But with that said, on the weekly chart, I mean, RSI is sky high, stochastic is higher, but with FOMO, things could definitely move a lot more. If you go to the day, things are way, way, way too high. RSI is like 90 something. And it hasn't been this high ever since this chart started. So yeah, it's hard to chart something when it goes out 40% in a day. Okay, let's just put it that way. But it is sitting right at a point where basically this was the support before. Now it's turned resistant. So if it breaks through it, it could be very positive. But short term, it looks very, very, very overbought at this point. Even if BTC goes to $1 million, I wouldn't be filthy rich. Well, that means you don't have enough. So keep accumulating. Have you looked into Travala? No, I have not. I know what they do. They're in the travel industry, but I don't know. I never got into them. Is this Travala? Is it Ava? Well, according to this, they hit a bottom right here around 40 cents. So they have doubled since then, right? They had a big jump, and then it kind of went sideways, and now it's looking like they want to break up again. Okay, that's on the daily chart. And day chart, RSI is high, but not too high. Weekly, you can't even chart because they haven't been on Binance for that long. 4 hour, okay, still going up. Volume picked up a little bit, right? So that's pretty good. I mean, yeah. Overall, I don't know. Travala, they want people to pay, with crypto, right, for travel. Obviously, eventually they'll get there. Right now, I don't know. Right now, I don't like any services like, crypto debit cards and stuff like that. Like for me, I don't want to spend any of my Bitcoin in crypto. That I just think it's pointless to spend it right now. I know that it goes against the grain. You want adoption, you want people to use it, but right now I'm treating it as a store of value, and that's because I believe it's gonna go much higher. Now, when Bitcoin goes to $1 million, yeah, then I think it's time to spend some of that, right? But right now, like for me, I'm just not interested. If I'm going to take a flight, I'm not interested in paying my Bitcoin to pay for a flight. That's just me because I don't have enough. Maybe other people that do have enough, they think differently. Dow Jones also broke into all-time high. This is high. I don't know if S&P is all-time high. I heard Russell is all-time high. I mean, everything is all-time high right now. So this also helps, right? This also helps. Elon is now the second richest person past Bill Gates. Is that true? I mean, Tesla has over 500 billion market cap. I guess it's true because I think he owns 20%, right? If he owns 20%, yeah, that would make him $100 billion. So he's definitely becoming filthy rich. Filthy rich. If Tesla market cap ever goes to $1 trillion or $2 trillion, where like Amazon is, he'll probably surpass Bezos. But keep in mind, Bill Gates stopped caring about wealth. He's been donating so much, right? He donates like $100 billion per year to his foundation and so forth. So Bill Gates stopped accumulating. If Bill Gates was still working and he was just investing for investment purposes, he would probably be at $1 trillion. Bill Gates, people don't realize, he's been donating like $100 billion year per year for like a decade. And the only reason why he's not broke is because he has this this genius investment person that invests his wealth, and he trusts him so much he doesn't even require a signature to do trades. He gave him full power of attorney to do whatever he wants, and he generates him like hundreds of billions per year. And Bill Gates utilized that to put into his Bill Gates and Melinda Foundation. It's actually a pretty interesting story. But that is the reason why Bill Gates is not number one, because he's really stopped caring. Yeah, this whole thing about him avoiding taxes, that's nonsense. That's nonsense. If he just paid, he could have paid way less in taxes than all the stuff that he's donated. I mean, it would have been way less. So that's BS. No, Elon is for the money. I know that for 100%. He takes all his Tesla profits and money and he reinvests into Tesla to make more money. Now, there's an end game to that. And he plans on utilizing that money mostly for colonizing Mars. But there's a reason why he's making it. Maybe not for individual wealth. I mean, when you have $100 billion, it doesn't matter if you have $100 billion or $200 billion, honestly. But I think he's trying to become like a trillionaire, so he could use that money to colonize Mars. I think he does have a purpose for that. Should I be trading my BTC or saving in my wallet to grow? Depends. Depends on if you're going to hold it. If you're going to hold it for the next year, 2, 5, 10 years without touching it, then hold it. But if if you want short-term gains, then you probably want to look at maybe taking some money out in case 20,000 does cause a fall. But it just depends on what your goals are. Are you a believer in Thanksgiving pump? I don't know. Someone on Twitter, You know, there's so many jackasses on Twitter, and someone's like, oh, mark my words, Bitcoin went down the last two Thanksgivings and it's going to happen, right? So I looked into it. I looked into the last two Thanksgiving. It didn't crash on Thanksgiving or before. Actually, the ones before were like really before, right? So there's always some people that like just want to spread FUD. But anyways, I don't know what's going to happen. I do believe if Bitcoin goes skyrockets to 20,000 tonight, right? There could be some explosiveness come Thanksgiving. When I say explosiveness, it's either up or down. It could go both ways. So I do think that could be coming right around the corner. Oh no, not. I do believe it's gonna come. And you know, we just had to see. Regardless, if it comes down, like I said, I've been saying this for a while. If it comes down 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 points, big whoop. Okay, it's a buying opportunity, and I'll just come right back up. Right? It'll only bring us back like a few weeks, and then we'll come right back up, and we'll go make some new highs. Right? If it doesn't come down and just consolidates, then that's fine too, because then altcoins will start skyrocketing. Right? So it's kind of like a win-win-win situation. Of course, it continues to go up. That's also a win, right? So it's like a triple win situation in my eyes, right? But the best thing you could do is have cash on hand so that if it does fall, you can take advantage. So if it falls and you don't have cash on hand, I guess it's not a win, but it's a draw. But so that's how I see it. Win-win-win. So I'm looking forward to it. FUD is good for us to accumulate more. I guess that's true. Every Thanksgiving is explosive in my house. Well, that could be said true for most households, I would say. All right, guys. That's it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hit the like, subscribe to the channel if you are new, right? But bottom line is Bitcoin, you know, surprised everyone for the past week or so. It seems like it's forever, but it's only like a past week. Bitcoin couldn't break above 19, right? 18.9, 18.8 or whatever. This morning just shattered through, right? We're now at 19.2. Honestly, 20,000 could be right around the corner. Could come in an hour, could come tonight, could come tomorrow. But we know it's coming. And then we'll have to see what happens afterwards. But based on what I told you guys today, institutional buying, right? That is not going to stop. That is only going to continue and escalate, right? So with FOMO building among the whales, you know this is not going to stop. They're trying to accumulate and take your Bitcoin away from you. They want to take Bitcoin away from everyone. They don't want people to become rich. They want to hoard the wealth for themselves. So don't transfer your wealth to them, right? Generate it for yourself. So honestly, 2021 is going to be a huge wealth builder for people in Bitcoin and altcoins. And I'm looking forward to it. It's finally here. After waiting 3 years, it's finally here. And it's our time to really reap the rewards, right? So hang in there, guys. And we'll see what happens tomorrow and rest of this week. I'll probably still be streaming. You know, as long as there's things to talk about and excitement, I'll be streaming. So it's going to be at 11 a.m. if I do. Follow me on Twitter. It's on the screen, right? So in case I change my mind, but it's going to be on there. And also, participate. Look at if you want to donate to Vegas Fund. Appreciate it. If you want to check out my Patreon, I would appreciate it. And that's it. And we'll see where things go. All right. Take care, guys. Oh, got an important message. Yeah, take a listen.
What do you think about Ripple?
Well, I mean, I think it's too centralized, but I definitely want to meet Chris Larson.